guys, how are you all doing? You're welcome back to the Afro Food Diary. My name is Geraldine. If it's your first time coming across my channel, oh my god, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This smile on my face, you are part of the reason it's there. So guys, in today's video we're going to be making onugbu soup. That's bitter leaf soup. The Anambra state people in Nigeria are known for onugbu soup, for their tasty, delicious, mouth-watering onugbu soup. It's actually their thing. If an Anambra woman has never made onugbu soup for you, my dear, you have not tasted onugbu. Oh my god, don't mind me. That's a joke, right? Other people, even my own very people, Abia people, we make onugbu as well in our own way, okay? But Anambra people, the same way when I mention my hometown, people say, Oha soup. The same way when you mention Omoahia in Abia State, some people say, Okazi soup. The same way that when you mention Owerri, someone goes, Ofe Owerri. That's the same way that Anambra people are known with onugbu soup, bitter leaf soup. Okay guys, but don't worry, I've got their secret and I'm going to be spilling it in this video, okay? I'm going to be showing you how to achieve a tasty, delicious, nutritious onugbu soup. Okay guys, so hang on, we're going to be talking about everything onugbu soup. Whatever I don't have, I will tell you, so that if you're in Nigeria or you happen to be somewhere you can get those things, you will not hesitate to go and get them, okay? So one thing that stands out in onugbu soup, let me start here already. One thing that I always heard around me whenever they're making onugbu soup is you hear them talk about, towel. Towel is like our cow tribe shack. You know that one? It looks like towel. The surface is kind of rough. Yeah. So you hear them say towel. You hear them say towel, roundabout. Those are like the things inside. You know those goodies inside cow belly, right? Yeah. So those are like the assorted meat. So it's part of what they use for this soup. They just shall use correct proteins for this soup, and they use onugbu. Let me tell you the way they wash their onugbu. Sister, listen, just in case you end up with an Anambra man, you need to know one or two things about their soup, right? Yeah, so the onugbu, as far as I can remember, the way they wash it, I really loved it, okay? They have this long basket, there's, the normal basket we're used to is round, but they have this specific long one for washing bitter leaves, okay? So they actually just put the bitter leaf whole like that, like the fresh plucked bitter leaf. They put it on the basket and with water, just to wash it this way. They wash it to come out in the long, like they come out long and beautiful. Oh my god, I like the way they do it. So after washing it, it's now left for you if you want to cut it or chop it. But like I see some make it with, just make it with the length like that. Oh my god, and it's so nice. So with that little story, can we get into our kitchen already and start making onugbu? For our ingredients, in that pot you can recognize cocoyams, but that is the diasporan style. Back in Nigeria, if you're making your ingredient list now to go to the market, when you get there, ask the women selling ede. Ask them for edo fe. They come in smaller sizes and the color is slightly different from what you're seeing here. Yeah, but here we make do with what we have. And for our palm oil, we'll be using fresh palm nuts, like you can see me add in the pot right now. So the rich palm oil taste will come from those fresh palm nuts, and that's what makes your onugbu soup very rich and delicious. I'm going to cover these two with water in this pot. I'm boiling the two together to save time, and of course they were thoroughly washed ahead of time. And I'm going to transfer them on my cooktop to cook until they are soft. Meanwhile, if you're from Anambra, please let us know in the comment section. Tell us what is special in your making onugbu soup, because I know different families, even in the same Anambra state, make theirs differently. There must be slight differences, right? So the next ingredient is bitter leaf. This is bitter leaf soup, right? Yeah, I have dry one, but the fresh ones are the best. I have habanero pepper and some onions, and I have dry fish, azumangala, and dry catfish. Yeah, so in this pot I've got some chicken, but beef is meant to be like the best for this soup. And of course I added some beef. And then the next important protein is stockfish. Back home they use the big stockfish head, which is very tasty, but right here I have just cod. Okay, so I'm going to be using some cod, which I added into that pot. And then I added some sliced up onions and the fresh habanero pepper. I'm going to spice with 2 Maggi seasoning cubes. And then back home they use towel, like I told us, towel like the Shaki tribe, cow tribe, and then afano, those other assorted meat inside cow. Yeah, and that's part of what makes this soup very tasty, but that is not accessible right here. If you're in Nigeria, please add that to your shopping list. So next I added just a little bit of water to allow this meat to start cooking. And while the meat is cooking, at the same time I'm going to cover the bitter leaf. I'm using the dry one. I'll cover it and transfer it to also start boiling. Okay, meanwhile our ede, the cocoyams and the palm fruits are ready. So I'm going to, at this point, peel the cocoyams. Remember, ask them for edofe if you are in a Nigerian market. That is ideal for making this soup. So I'll peel the back of the cocoyams and then put in my blender for blending. Back home or even here, if you have mortar, you are going to pound this until it's very smooth. Pound it when it's warm so that you can get every lump out of your way. Meanwhile, while that is done, I'll go ahead and mash the palm fruits and extract the juice from it. Okay, this is where we're getting our palm oil from, right? So we're going to extract all those goodness from this palm fruits in order to make our soups. Okay, meanwhile our ede will be on the other side to blend. This is our dry catfish and dry mangala fish. I'm going to pour hot water into it. The hot water will help us to clean it thoroughly, like cleanse it of any sand and soften it enough for me to take off the bones. Okay, meanwhile our meat has been cooking for about 20 minutes. You check and see when your meat is tender enough for you, and at that point I will pour in the extracted palm fruit juice. Okay, and you can see the color is already becoming beautiful. So, and of course the quantity of water you use in extracting your palm fruit depends on the quantity of soup you're making. Okay, you don't want to have too much water in this, in as much as you don't also want it very dry. So, and remember, if you're blending it, you're adding a little bit of water to your cocoyam as well, so all those fluid should count towards the end goal, which is like the total amount of fluid you will have in your soup. So once that is done, I'm going to transfer the blended cocoyams into my pot. My own is slightly fluidy, yeah, because I added some water to get my blender moving. But if you pounded it, it will come out in lumps, like it will come out in a thicker form, like you have semo, right? Then you just scoop into your pot the same way I'm doing right now. So I'll allow that to come to a boil. And I want to mention that I'm adding it bit by bit. You don't want to have too much cocoyam or you will end up with very thick soup. Okay, so I'm doing that gradually. I add half part and allow it to boil for 1 minute, and then I'll check the consistency and know if I want to add more. That's exactly what I'm doing. So you check and see. You don't want your soup to be overly concentrated, otherwise when it cools down you will not be able to get your fingers through the soup. Okay, so I added the last of the cocoyams because I needed to, and then this is the perfect time to add my deboned catfish and mangala fish, and then added about 4 tablespoons of blended crayfish too. So I'll mix that in and cover it to cook for good 5 minutes, after which you can see the consistency has come together. One beautiful thing about making soup with fresh palm fruits is like the homogeneous nature of the soup comes to play. Like everything is thoroughly mixed into each other, like very creamy, and you don't see the oil separating in any way, and that's the beauty of a soup. So while I admire the long onugbu strips after washing them, I love to chop it into tiny bits to add to the soup, especially when I'm using dry onugbu like I'm doing in this case. I had to parboil it for 6 to 8 minutes to get it soft, but if you're using fresh one, washed one, add it to your soup at this point. So the next thing is to add our bitter leaf into the soup because we're almost done, and the quantity of onugbu you use depends on you, okay? Personally, I don't like it so crowded with the onugbu leaves, but you can definitely add more if you want to. Meanwhile, after adding the onugbu, I covered it to steam for like 2 to 3 minutes, and yeah, this is what we're having, and the consistency is exactly what you want to have. Like I mentioned, you don't want it to be too thick. Soup is ready, friends. All my Anambra friends and subscribers, please gather in the comment section. Let's finish the lecture we started. Let's just talk about the soup and convert those who don't like onugbu soup. So my beautiful people, once again, that is it for our today's video. Thank you so much. I do not take your presence here for granted. Give me a thumb up like this, and I will see you in my next video.